When I first got into minimalism around 7 or 8 years ago, I did not expect for things to go the way that they did. Initially, minimalism was just an idea to help me declutter some of the stuff I had accumulated over my lifetime that I no longer needed. Never in a million years did I think that it would change the way that I live my everyday life. But today, when I look back, I can see that minimalism has influenced almost everything. It has influenced the way that I spend and manage my money, the way that I spend and manage my time, the way that I run my business, the way that I organize my home, the things that I allow to bother or upset me, and really just the way that I view life in general. Minimalism has taught me about priorities. It's taught me what is actually worth my concern and attention and what is not. And at the risk of sounding overdramatic, I really think that it's improved basically every aspect of my life. And so in this video, I want to share with you 10 simple minimalist habits that I personally follow every single day, which have had an immeasurably positive impact on my life and can probably help you too. Starting with turning off notifications. The only thing that can send me a notification on this phone is a text or a phone call, and everything else is silenced and hidden. I don't want to get notifications from social media. I don't want to be told that somebody commented on a photo or liked my post on Instagram. Quite honestly, I don't care about any of that. There were a number of years that I walked through life feeling a little bit smug, feeling like, look at me, I don't have any vices, I don't have any addictions, I'm not beholden to anything. Meanwhile, I was completely addicted to my phone. I'd open a social media app, I'd spend 2 or 3 minutes scrolling through looking for I'm not even sure what, and then I'd close the app, and a minute later I'd get a notification, and so I'd open it again. And generally speaking, that notification was junk, it was irrelevant, but then because the app was open, I'd spend another 3 to 5 minutes scrolling through the exact same thing I had just closed out of. The truth be told, anybody who urgently needs to get a hold of me, anybody in my life who is important enough to actually need to contact me, is gonna either call me or text me. Not only has turning off notifications improved my focus and my productivity, but it's also really reduced my anxiety because I no longer feel that feeling of panic or a FOMO when my phone dings and I can't look at it right away and all I can think about is what I'm missing out on, because most of the time it's something dumb and I'm not missing out on it anyways. The Outbox. The Outbox is a designated spot in your house. It can be a literal box, it can be a bag, in my case it's a shoe closet, and it's a place that I designate as the storage spot for everything that needs to leave my house. So if I have any clothing that I plan to donate, or if I have any mail that I need to send out, or something that I've borrowed from somebody that I now need to give back, I have this one designated spot that everything goes so that it's not just scattered around my whole house, but also so that I see it every time I'm about to leave the house and I know that I can take it out with me and take it to the place that it needs to go. If I have an item that I'm considering decluttering and I just can't quite decide whether or not to get rid of it, I'll often take it and put it into that Outbox location and just leave it there for a while. And if after a week or two I'm finding that I'm not missing that item or I haven't even thought about it at all, it's probably a good sign that I'm good to get rid of it. The Outbox is just one of many systems and routines that I have implemented into my life in the last few years, and I find that it just makes things really streamlined for me. It gives me an automatic answer to a lot of questions. In this case, generally, what should I do with this thing or where should I put this thing? Now I have an exact spot that I know where it belongs. And another routine that I've gotten into, which has made my life just a lot less stressful and a lot more enjoyable overall, is prioritizing having a slow morning. But in order to be able to do this, the prep really has to start the night before. As someone who is admittedly not at all a morning person, I've always preferred to shower at night right before I go to sleep because I feel like it's just a lot cleaner to help wash the whole day off before you get into bed, but it also saves me an incredible amount of time in the morning. Then when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to feel the need to rush or scramble around at all. I can kind of just take my time. I can spend a little bit of time with Levi, I can cook myself a good meal before I go, I can drink my AG1, I can just unwind a little bit and not feel so chaotic. A big thank you, by the way, to AG1, not only for being an integral part of my slow morning routine, but also for sponsoring this video. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement which contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, including pre and probiotics, antioxidants, and adaptogens. It is vegan friendly, gluten free, GMO free, dairy free, and NSF certified for sport. All you basically do is take one quick scoop into your water, give it a quick shake, and now you're good to go. Obviously, we want to try to get the majority of our nutrition from our food. That goes without saying, but I can only speak for myself when I say that I'm not always perfect. My nutrition is not always as on point as I wish it was. So AG1 just serves as a great little backup measure to make sure that my body is getting everything that it needs. I've been drinking it every day for the last 5 or 6 months now, and I just feel like it gives me a lot of energy. My skin has been really clear, and it's just been an amazing addition to my morning routine. If you'd like to give AG1 a try for yourself, head over to drinkag1.com/accordingtonicole or click the link in the description box down below. And when you do, you will get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 drops, plus 5 free travel packs with your first order. Thank you again to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. The 5-minute nightly reset. This habit actually ties directly into the last one, because a big part of being able to have a slow, peaceful morning is doing the work ahead of time that will allow you to do that. Every night before I head upstairs to have a shower and go to bed, I take 5 minutes just to do a quick tidy around the house and to remove anything that I don't want to find when I come down here in the morning. So that includes things like making sure there are no dirty dishes on the counter or in the sink. I either wash them and put them away, or I just put them in the dishwasher. It means giving the countertops a quick wipe down and picking up anything that might be on the floor that shouldn't be, like Levi's toys, which are always on the floor, so that I can run the robot vacuum when I get up in the morning and know that it's not going to suck up anything or get stuck on anything. There are very few things that put me in a worse mood than coming down first thing in the morning when I'm still groggy and tired and just finding a mess. Finding gross, dirty dishes everywhere, finding a full garbage can under the sink, just having a mess to deal with. And you might be surprised to find out that almost all of that can be resolved generally within about 5 minutes. I think a lot of the times when we're procrastinating, when we don't want to do something, we convince ourselves that it's a big deal, that it's going to take a really long time. And in actuality, it's not. It is much easier to maintain tidiness and cleanliness than it is to try to get to it when you're living in chaos. And one of the habits that helps me maintain that and stay on top of that is the 2-minute rule. And I'm pretty sure I originally got the 2-minute rule from Matt Diavella, so I will absolutely give credit where credit is due. But the 2-minute rule states that if something can be done in 2 minutes or less, you should just do it right now. So like hanging up your coat takes less than a minute. It's very easy just to toss it on the couch or toss it on the floor, but it will take you just as little time to just hang it up and put it where it belongs. It takes you less than 2 minutes to take something off of your coffee table or off of your desk or off of whatever surface it's not supposed to be on and put it where it actually belongs. And so if you can just commit to going, hey, that's a really, really small task, it's only going to take me a minute or two, I'm just going to do it now. And it prevents big messes from developing out of things that are actually really small and simple to deal with in the moment. Batch cooking. This is my secret weapon. Can I tell you the truth? The idea of meal prepping to me is completely unappetizing. Like, there is little that sounds grosser than pre-cooking meals for 5 to 10 days and then leaving them to rot in the fridge and eating things that are increasingly mushy and old and ew. But batch cooking, to me, is the perfect in-between solution. Every weekend, I take an hour or two to batch cook a couple of base meals. By base meals, I mean things that I can use to make a meal, but that are not completely prepped meals in and of themselves. So that might mean making something like a spaghetti sauce, where I can come and cook fresh spaghetti during the week, but I have the sauce already ready to go. Or making a curry where I'm still gonna cook the rice and the side dishes fresh, but I already have the main curry made up. Typically, these are things that last me about 3 or 4 portions and can generally be frozen quite easily and still come out tasting just as good. But that way I have 2 or 3 different things that I can cycle through or even use to make other meals throughout the week. So I have things that are already ready to go, but I'm not stuck eating like mushy, old, over-prepared food that's been decaying in the fridge for the last 7 days.
You've been eating that thing for a week. I think the mayonnaise is starting to turn.
2 more feet and I can fit it in the fridge.
Go paperless. That was unnecessary, wasn't it? I'll be the first to admit that I was kind of late to the party with this one. I'm not really sure why, but it took me till probably about 2 or 3 months ago to be fully paperless when it comes to all of my bills and all of my financial records and everything like that. To me, paper clutter is one of the most annoying, most unsightly forms of clutter. It's just like piles of basically garbage where you get a bill in and then you set it to the side and then you forget about it. And before you know it, you have piles of bills and receipts and crap all over the place, and I hate it. So I've gotten rid of all of my paper bills. Everything now comes to me via email. As soon as the email comes in, I pay the bill, I delete the email, and it's done. No more paper clutter. Like I said, I'm late to the party. I'm sure that you guys are probably already doing this, and if you aren't, well, then you're as bad as I am, and you should be. I gotta pick all these papers up now. Oh, that was a dumb thing to do. Now, this next habit is one that has been a complete game changer for my finances. Not only has it made it a lot easier for me to save money, but it's really helped me to evaluate when I'm making a good purchase versus a bad one, and really how badly I actually want the thing that I'm buying. I call this match your wants. Basically, how it works is that anytime that I'm about to go and buy something that is a want but not a need, something that I just feel like buying even though I don't have to, I will take that same equivalent dollar value of whatever it is I'm about to buy, and I will transfer that money from my checking to my savings account. So if I'm gonna buy a pair of shoes for $100, that's fine, but I'm gonna also take $100 and put it in savings. If I'm gonna buy a $5 coffee, even though I have coffee at home, that's fine, I'm not gonna deprive myself of it, but I'm gonna take another $5 and transfer it to savings. By doing this, I'm essentially forcing myself to pay for that thing twice, because this is going to be a hot take, but my theory is that if you can't afford to pay for it twice, you can't afford to pay for it once. If paying for it twice will affect your ability to pay your bills, or just feels like more money than you can comfortably spend, you probably can't really afford to be buying that thing. In that same line of thought, another habit that I'm a huge fan of is canceling Amazon Prime. I'm not going to go really into this because I made an entire video about it a couple weeks ago, so I'll link to that up in the cards. You can check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But Amazon Prime is convincing you, it is manipulating you to spend more money than you actually plan to or intend to or even know that you're spending. And so if you can cut it from your life, I think you should, because you will save a lot more money than you realize. Build a simple capsule wardrobe. If you guys have been watching my videos for any amount of time, you may have noticed that I wear, by and large, the same thing pretty much all the time. And I know straight up that this won't be for everybody. I know that there are a lot of people out there who find a lot of joy in really being creative with their outfits and finding something new and different and interesting to wear every day. And if that's you, then that's totally cool.
Like, whatever.
But for me personally, I have always found that in the past, when I would do laundry, there was always like one or two things that I would reach for first that were like the favorite pieces of clothing that I had, that I felt the best in, that I felt the most comfortable in. And one day I started to realize, I'm like, if this is always the thing that I reach for first, why don't I just basically wear this all the time? Like, why don't I just get a bunch of these things and wear them the same every day? And so I started doing that. So I wear, by and large, the same pair of black skinny jeans and one of several kind of plain neutral colored tops every day. And everything that I have can kind of mix and match simply and work well together. And it eliminates a lot of decision fatigue for me, because when I get dressed in the morning, I know that basically whatever I pick, I'm gonna feel good in, it's gonna fit me well, and it's gonna be something that I feel comfortable in, because it's basically the same thing that I always wear because I always feel comfortable in it. Another perk to this is it really prevents me from impulsively buying clothing that I don't wind up wearing. And this is something that I know we've all fallen victim to at some point, where we go out shopping and we find something that's maybe a little bit outside of what we would normally wear, but we like the idea of it and we buy it and we bring it home. And then we either never wear it at all, or we wear it once and decide that it really is outside of our comfort zone. And it's just kind of a waste. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of the item, it's just a waste in general. And so now when I do shop for clothing, it's always very intentional. It's because I'm looking for something very specific, or I'm trying to replace something that's worn out, but I'm never just impulsively buying things that I'm not gonna actually end up using.
Pink! Marge, I can't wear a pink shirt to work. Everybody wears white shirts. I'm not popular enough to be different.
And just to be clear, if you are somebody who really enjoys a lot of color and a lot of texture and a lot of variety in your outfits, you can still implement a capsule wardrobe. A capsule wardrobe just means that everything matches with everything else, that everything is interchangeable. And that doesn't have to exclude color and excitement and variety, just because for me, I like the color gray a whole lot. Doesn't mean you have to. But I hope that this video has given you some ideas on how simplifying your life can really benefit you in every respect. These are just 10 things that I personally do, and I would love to know if you have any tips or any habits that you do that maybe I didn't mention in this video, or if you actually do any of these yourself already, let me know which one you find the most benefit in. If you enjoyed this video at all, please go ahead and hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You can follow me on Instagram at according_to_Nicole. Other than that, thank you guys so much as always for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.